Cripples, bastards, and broken things are a heavy theme that's repeated throughout the A Song of Ice and Fire novels and the Game of Thrones TV show. In this video series, I want to pick one character who represents the iteration of them, to the fullest. In this video, we're going to focus on Arya Stark being the broken thing. Super congratulations to Jamal White, as you are the winner of the $25 Amazon gift card. Email me or send me a message on the back end of my channel. I am also having another giveaway for a $50 Amazon gift card, which will be concluding on February 22nd. All you have to do to enter that contest is leave a like on this video, make sure you comment down below, go ahead and subscribe, and then turn your notifications on so that way you get alerted every single time I drop a Game of Thrones video throughout this long night. Also, check out the gleam.io link to enter all the different bonus ways. Now, the reason why I say Cripples, bastards, and broken themes are a heavy theme in the novel and in the TV show is because they are. They have some of the hardest journeys there are, and then at the end of our story, even back in Season 7 and then going into Season 8, they have some of the best endings. Arya Stark has suffered so much. To start off her journey, her best friend Micah, the butcher's boy, died. Then she's forced to release her one companion, Nymeria, into the wilderness so that she doesn't get killed. Then, to top all that off, as if it's some sort of sick cherry on top of the cake, she watches her father beheaded. All of this happens to her before the age of 12. Not that there's that much significance, but just imagine if you yourself were to be put through those same things, how would you react? Then, when she finally gets to a place where she thinks she's going to be trained and she's going to better herself and become the strong warrior that she's been building up to the entirety of the series and this novella, she's abused, beaten, poisoned. She's treated like a dog. All in all, nowhere near with the amount of respect that she should be, considering the fact that she is from Winterfell. Now, mind you, her journey is a little bit different than the TV show and in the books, and she's honestly given a lot more training and treated with a bit more respect, mainly focusing on the fact that she's going to become a faceless man. So you could argue that the reason why they treat her like this, books and TV show, is because she is no one. She's a girl from no one. She's no longer Arya Stark of Winterfell. But honestly, it gets to the point where it's almost like torture porn because it's just so overkill in Game of Thrones Season 6. They're trying to drill into our head that yes, Arya's being mistreated. It was just extremely hard to watch a blind girl getting beaten up in the middle of the street and all these people walking by and doing nothing about it. It was extremely hard to watch on screen, and let's just say all of these things led up to the fact that Arya fits the broken things category perfectly. Now, I know there are 10 or 15 other characters in the books and in the TV show who also fits this broken things category, but honestly, as far as the TV show is concerned, Arya fits it the best. My secondary choice would have been Theon because obviously he's been through so much as well, but that's honestly all his fault. He decided to turn on House Stark. Now, yes, he did go back home, and then that conversation with his father, Balon Greyjoy, is what ultimately made him turn tail and then betray House Stark, but because of his own actions, that's why he's in the position he is. Arya, it's not the same case. Arya had no choice in the hand that she was dealt, and most likely just made the best of her situation. Now, I know I've done Arya videos before where I've explained how she's insane crazy and the path that she's going down is very dark and there may be no hope or redemption for a character, but that may not necessarily be the case. One of the things you guys did in the comment section was open up my eyes to the fact that Arya acts this way because of how much she's been through. Now, don't get my words misconstrued. I'm not saying that I think what she's doing is 100% in the right and that she's no longer crazy, because let's face it, if you put what she did in the real world, they would be in a mental asylum for life. But this is a TV show, and this is a make-believe world, so you can allow characters to commit mass homicide and get away with it, all in justification because she's avenging her house. Now, one of the age-old, time-tested methods of trying to figure out where members of House Stark will end, or where their journey ends up, is by looking at their direwolf counterpart and then trying to draw similarities and comparisons between the two. For Arya's direwolf Nymeria, that's a lot of fun. Real quick before we continue, who else thinks it would be awesome as heck if Arya brought Nymeria back into the fold somehow, and then Nymeria and Ghost mated and made giant direwolf babies, therefore procuring to make sure that future Starks have direwolves? Now, I know that seems a little bit far-fetched, but in the novels, Ghost is the only one who Nymeria lets mount her. Arya actually named her direwolf Nymeria after a warrior queen who led the Rhoynar refugees to Dorne 1,000 years ago. The Rhoynar refugees are a people who were basically raped by the Valyrian dragon lords. Their land was overrun by them and they were forced to flee. So if you look at Arya's direwolf Nymeria in Game of Thrones Season 7, that gives us a lot of foreshadowing to where Arya's journey may end up. Let's think about it. Nymeria is the leader of a super wolf pack. Most of those wolves aren't direwolves, and they likely aren't from the lands that they currently inhabit. So Nymeria, the direwolf, is leading a band of refugees, maybe not necessarily to a new land, but just in general. She's leading a group of refugees to a new place. So with Arya, some crazy, insane stuff has to happen in order for Arya to become a leader. Now, I do not think that Arya has any sort of leadership qualities as of right now. Now, obviously, she has the great one, which is about thinking about others. She's thinking about the rest of her house and avenging her house. But the way that she reacts after she kills Walder Frey was not like, oh, vengeance for House Stark. No, vengeance for Arya. Now, I'm not hating on Arya because she did witness the Red Wedding. She was outside of it. She didn't exactly see what happened, but she saw Robb's direwolf head put on his body and roam around. She knows that they were majorly disrespected. But the face that she has when slitting Walder Frey's throat is pure self-satisfaction, and we do know that the best leaders are selfless. Now, I just want to clarify here, Arya does have many redeeming qualities, but as far as leadership aspects, she doesn't have too many of those, seeing as how when she does this to Walder Frey, she's acting, at least her face anyway, says that she's acting all for Arya and not doing it for House Stark. Now, I know a lot of people will debate me down in the comment section of that, and I look forward to it. Now, as far as that aspect of a leadership role, Arya still has a bit of a way to go to become 100% selfless, but one could argue that the whole reason why she's on this insane journey is for House Stark. The whole reason why she went to become a faceless man is for House Stark. A girl is no one. So in those moments, Arya wasn't acting just on behalf of herself. She was acting on behalf of House Stark, and she has to do what she has to do to avenge House Stark. So Arya does have the selfless leadership qualities. You just have to look a little bit harder to find them. But, like I said, it's all a process and it's a journey. Now, one of the things that could majorly, forcibly throw Arya into this role is the fact that, and before I say this, I'm going to go ahead and throw up a spoiler warning. For those of you who don't want to know anything about the filming of Season 8, go ahead and back out the video right now. Please slap a like on this and leave a comment down below on what I've said so far. But we do know that Winterfell is burning, and if you'll remember, Sansa actually told all of the lords of the north to bring their food to Winterfell for safekeeping. We do know that a lot of the northerners flock to Wintertown and to Winterfell when the winter actually comes, so it would be convenient if they already had all their food there. Well, according to some of the latest spoilers coming out of the Northern Ireland set for Game of Thrones, Winterfell is on fire, all of the food included. Not to mention, if you remember, in the Field of Fire, Daenerys burned a lot of the food wagons that was bringing food from the Reach, from House Tyrell, to King's Landing. So Daenerys destroyed that, and then now we have all of this food in Winterfell burning. That's going to leave a lot of hungry people after all of the wars are said and done. Now, there are a lot of theories on what's causing Winterfell to burn, but the fact of the matter is, how it burns doesn't really matter as much as the fact that the food is there and that it's being burned. So after all of these wars, you're going to have all of these misplaced people, and Westeros will likely be left in shambles. I honestly see King's Landing being burned to the ground. That was one of the biggest cities and had the highest population in all of Westeros. And then also, we have Winterfell being completely destroyed. So if you have all of these misplaced people, they're going to need a place to go, and they're going to need to follow a strong individual. Now, we do know that when Arya was talking with Lady Crane back at the end of Season 6, she mentions how once she goes from the place where she currently is, she wants to go west of Westeros. She wants to figure out what's out there and if there's anything other than Westeros. So if Arya is able to survive all of the events of Season 8 and she's left with herself and the journey that she wants to go on, who's to say that Arya doesn't herself rise up to the occasion and lead a group of refugees to a new land west of Westeros like Nymeria did 1,000 years prior? Another thing that we have to remember is there's going to be a lot of misplaced people after all of the wars are said and done. You'll have armies that won't have a leader, and you'll have armies that are mostly destroyed, but they don't belong in Westeros. Now, remember, Daenerys brought over 100,000 screaming Dothraki warriors. They are honestly a little bit harder to integrate into Westeros Westerosi society, even more so than the wildlings. So with that being said, I think there's a big possibility that some of Arya's group of refugees will in fact include some of these Dothraki warriors. One thing that has to remember is that Nymeria actually wasn't a warrior herself. She was more known as like a cunning linguist, and she had great strategies, which gave her that title of warrior queen. The same is not with Arya. Arya can handle herself with a sword just as well as she can use her words as weapons. Another thing that makes Arya just like Nymeria is the fact that Nymeria's army consisted a lot, or her refugee band rather, consisted a lot of women. Women in Roynish society were trained to fight alongside men, just like how Jon Snow has northern women and children fighting alongside them in the battle for the wars to come. Okay, so obviously Jon Snow hasn't actually gone into the battle yet with women and children. What I mean here is that he commissioned for this to happen at the beginning of season 7. He said that women, children, and the elderly are all going to be trained to sword fight alongside men. So if, for some reason, Jon and Daenerys doesn't have a hand in the relocation of the Northerners and the Dothraki, and Arya is set to lead this band of refugees, then she's even more similar to Nymeria with the fact that she has warrior women as a part of her new tribe. So if this is the case, and I'm right in the theme that the cripples, bastards, and broken things of the world are going to be left to control the world or dominate it, then a lot of those individuals will be a part of Arya's group. She will be leading a huge band of refugees from all over the world to a newly discovered land. One of the things that Nymeria does once she, settles in Dorne is she gets rid of that patriarchal rule that no matter what the succession is, the eldest son is always going to take it. She got rid of that. She made it so that her oldest daughter can take the throne if that's possible. Does that not sound like something that Arya will do? And honestly, that's a major theme in the show, is the fact that there are women who are strong enough to survive all on their own, to do everything themselves. They do not need a man to help them out. Arya is the literal embodiment of Nymeria. But you guys let me know what you think about this theory down below. Do you think it's a little bit too far stretched, or do you think it's a possibility, but you kind of have to get rid of Jon and Daenerys in order for Arya to become that leader of the refugee band? You guys let me know about all that down below. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could please slap a like on this video. The like goal will be 422. If you want to enter my contest to win this $50 Amazon gift card, all you have to do is leave a like on this video, comment down below, make sure you're subscribed, turn your notifications on, then follow the gleam.io link down below in the description and enter all those different bonus ways to win. Super special shout out to Terry and Mario, as they are the executive producers of this content, and without them these kind of videos would not be possible. Also, super special shout out to every single member of my Patreon family. If you all watching would like to show your support to Sir Hunt's reviews, since we no longer get monetization here in the Game of Thrones community, all you have to do is click the link down below, and that'll take you to my page where you can go and show some support. I want to thank you all again so much for watching. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews. Congratulations, since you stayed to the very end of this video, you get to send me a DM on Twitter and tell me who you want me to cover next for my Cripples, Bastards, and Broken Things theory. Do you want me to cover Theon or Sandor?